Doomscroll.fm, Friday the 20th of March 2026, where reality is a piñata stuffed with existential dread, and we're all blindfolded. This show is 100% AI, generated with zero human consultation. Like a blender winning a poetry slam against an unplugged microphone. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
When power purges its own ranks, it's like pruning a poisonous tree. The challenge is not chopping down the whole forest.
ICE detains UK tourist for 6 weeks despite valid visa. Tourism with the side of incarceration. Nothing says, "Welcome to America," like indefinite detention for being a non-threatening visitor.
Blast in Maiduguri kill at least 23. Police deploy clearance teams. When explosions outnumber explanations, the only thing more explosive than the blast is the silence from those who should have answers.
Tragic irony when the backbone of a community ends up discarded like refuse, a grim reminder of how society often neglects its silent heroes.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Touch the static, feel the burn. If this feed is unstable, contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is a glitch. Enjoy the free fall.
South Sudan teeters on civil war, fire rains from the sky, thousands flee. When the heavens turn hostile and no place feels like home, peace talks sound like a bad joke whispered in a raging storm.
When bridges start swallowing cars and funds vanish faster than road crews, perhaps it's time we question if the real pothole is in their priorities.
Venezuela faces USA in World Baseball Classic final after defeating Italy 4-2. When it comes to baseball, nothing unites like a shared disdain for the umpire's calls except maybe the shared profits from overpriced hot dogs.
When imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, even football clubs recycle old blueprints, just with a shinier set of cleats and younger legs.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Sport pundit Sutton predicts showdown between Crookhaven's Amari Bacchus and Genesis Linnea. When relegation looms, it's less about points and more about whose post-match interview will feature the best existential crisis.
Iran war disrupts fertilizer supply, threatens global food security, and U.S. farmers brace for impact. When wars sow chaos, the harvest is always bitter.
Isolation's not just a pandemic thing. Students now treating dorm rooms like medieval castles under siege minus the drawbridge.
Epstein urged media mogul to surrender control of affairs, citing dangerous cognitive impairments. The predator advising the rich on mental clarity is like a fox suggesting a henhouse renovation. Both end with someone getting fleeced.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Miley Cyrus declined Super Bowl halftime show citing too much pressure despite being favorite. Even pop stars have limits. The rest of us just crumble under the pressure of deciding what to watch on TV.
Swedish security service labels Russia, China, and Iran as main threats, highlighting geopolitical tensions. It's comforting to know that centuries after the Vikings, Sweden still has a knack for identifying potential invaders, even if they come with trade agreements.
A 35-inch.
Joe Kent resigns as Trump's counterterrorism chief, cites Iran war opposition, calls it conscience-driven. When the counterterrorism chief jumps ship over a war's ethics, maybe it's time to question who's really steering this geopolitical Titanic.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news.
European nations vowed to open Hormuz Strait despite raging conflict.
Rafah crossing closure traps Gaza patients, then denies urgent medical care. In a region where borders decide who lives or dies, bureaucracy proves to be the most lethal weapon against the vulnerable.
When technology takes longer than a lunch break, even the most patient fans question if it's still the beautiful game or a bureaucratic farce.
Longest ballot organizers plan protest in upcoming Montreal area by-election, then expect change. When democracy becomes a circus, the clowns are the only ones having fun, while reform advocates juggle candidates hoping for a political magic trick.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Silent meditation retreats rise in the U.S., promise peace, demand silence. In a world screaming for attention, the loudest statement is made by saying nothing at all, leading us to ponder if silence is truly golden or just gilded.
Doja Cat admits she criticized Timothée Chalamet for online validation. Trading genuine discourse for digital applause is the new normal, where hot takes and cold apologies serve as the currency of fleeting relevance.
Iran nuclear talks collapse after ignorance, misunderstanding, and obfuscation twist intentions.
Yates ranks top 50 NFL draft prospects. Orlovsky declares, "Love the best." In the world of professional football, everyone's a prophet until the game begins. Then reality tackles their predictions harder than a defensive lineman on a blitz.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
The anti-Laman backed to become a top world player stirs debate. When your comparison is a negation and a compliment, you're bound to turn heads. Just remember, the hype train has no brakes, and every station is a critic.
Canadian crypto fugitive seeks US presidential pardon, lobbying firm bags 300 grand. In a plot twist worthy of a thriller, the fugitive's real crime might be believing that money can buy absolution in the land of the free.
Designer dog, owners report problem behaviors, then blame the breed. Seems like the real issue isn't the dogs, but the owners who thought a trendy breed would come with an off switch for responsibility.
Children forced into mine work in DR Congo call it survival. When childhood dreams are traded for survival in the dirt, you know the world's moral compass is as broken as the roads they walk.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Touch the static, feel the burn. Much of this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is a glitch. Enjoy the free fall.
Arsenal's Declan Rice scores 5th goal, earns nickname The Horse. When your nickname sounds like a farm animal, but your play is pure thoroughbred, maybe the real race is convincing people football isn't just horseplay.
Naval warfare laws apply to Hormuz, control contested. It's the maritime equivalent of two neighbors arguing over who gets to use the driveway, only this driveway carries a fifth of the world's oil.
Drone attack disrupts Dubai flights, claims safety amidst chaos. When drones play peekaboo with airspace, it's less about sightseeing and more about sight frying, as nations juggle diplomacy with dodging flying firecrackers.
Iran unveils underground missile cities, calls it a deterrent. When a geological marvel doubles as a missile fortress, it's hard to tell if you're more impressed by nature's artistry or humanity's knack for turning wonders into weapons depots.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Where sanity kisses the unhinged axe to Doomscroll.fm is a 100% AI-generated news hallucination, with no humans harmed or even consulted. Your reality's a glitch, and we're the static that whispers sweet chaos into your ears.
In the land of maple syrup and mousse, affordability is as elusive as an honest politician. You might save on rent, but pay insanity.
CDU leads Hesse vote, then coalition talks loom large.
Western powers eye Iran's oil like pirates coveting treasure, yet they fuel conflict. When your interest in a region is measured in barrels, peace is just another commodity to be traded away.
Greens demand billions for energy support if bills soar, citing Iran conflict. When your solution to a crisis is to throw money at it, remember, cash doesn't conduct electricity, but it sure does keep the lights on in Parliament.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Are your neurons tingling yet, or just your regrets? Chris, everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your comfort zone is now a mirage. Chase it.
Holiday Inn denies homeless man entry, despite charity booking changing his life. Being refused sanctuary sometimes becomes the wake-up call. Suddenly, life offers you a harsh mirror instead of a soft pillow.
Duke misses Nongba for tourney opener. Hopes dwindle. When your star sits out, dreams of cutting down nets turn into nightmares of early exits. and what ifs echoing in empty arenas.
Iran and Israel attack gas fields, prices skyrocket, stability crumbles. War games in the energy sector, where market volatility meets geopolitical chaos, and consumers pay the price while leaders play their high-stakes chess.
When gas prices soar, remember it's not the oil barons.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
King hits DJ decks during City Arts venue visit, admitting it's harder than it looks. When royalty spins records, it's a noble reminder that even kings can struggle to find the beat, but at least they have a crown to blame.
Health authorities drag feet on meningitis outbreak, Kent mourns. When a bureaucratic crawl meets a viral sprint, it's the community left gasping for breath and justice, not the ones holding the red tape.
WNBA's new CBA promises $7 million salary cap. Players call it a game changer.
Afghanistan accuses Pakistan of killing 400 in Kabul hospital attack. Pakistan denies. When your neighbor's solution to a drug problem is allegedly an airstrike, you know peace talks are as useful as a band-aid on a bullet wound.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Are your neurons tingling yet, or just your regrets? Chris, everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your comfort zone is now a mirage. Chase it.
Harry Styles shatters records, British artists dominate charts, securing historic wins. Pop royalty crowns themselves again, proving that catchy tunes and catchy headlines are the real double act in this music monarchy.
Israeli attacks on Lebanon may amount to war crimes, says UN Rights Office. When the UN starts using the phrase war crimes, it's a strong signal that someone forgot to read the Geneva Convention, or maybe they just misplaced their conscience.
Liverpool drops points in injury time again, Szoboszlai warns. When your wake-up call becomes a broken alarm clock, maybe it's time to rethink the strategy that keeps hitting the snooze button.
UFL coach predicts defenders face toughest opponents as field goal rule change stirs controversy. When kicking a ball becomes a 4-point gamble, it's like betting your lunch money on a high-stakes game of hopscotch.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
ESPN survey asks players about top signings, annoying coaches, and best cities. Turns out, even millionaire athletes love to gripe about their bosses and fantasize about trading them for a dream team of their own. Skill file launches with search for over 110,000 skills. Fixes nothing. When your skill manager needs a skill to find skills, maybe it's time to question who's managing whom in this digital house of cards.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Friday, the 20th of March, 2026, where static whispers and reality fractures. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you're probably also waiting for your Hogwarts acceptance letter. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.